boss, but I'm gonna get mine. I'll do the crime if you can't do the time. Don't tell me how you're off and down. When you smile in my face, but you play me like a clown, it's your fool, bitch. So just sit back. I'm a mad dad when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. 1, 2 day is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises over the top. Don't trust a lie, but you know it's wrong. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's go.
Right. Sunday morning. Welcome, Bucket Man. What is up? I'm excited.
Muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted everybody for a minute here. Let me unmute you. I got you.
We're unmuted now. How are we doing?
Well, I got neuropathy really bad in my right arm. It sometimes feels like fire, sometimes feels like electric, sometimes feels like stabbing, throbbing.
Refresh me on neuropathy. What's that again?
It's when I have horrible pain going down my legs and arms because it's nerve pain. It's
right.
Nerve
yeah.
Coming from my neck, basically, my neck and my lower back. So you asked, and I'm telling you, I'm in a lot of pain today, but I'm enjoying myself because I'm getting really high, and I'm going to smoke a big fatty right now.
That's what it's all about.
So when you say it feels like it's on fire, I got to be clear that you're not saying that's fire, man. That feels fire, because that could go either way. You know what I mean?
I think when we're talking about the category, no one's really saying, "Oh man, this lower back pain, loving this fire all the way."
There you go.
Fire. No, not that kind of fire.
No.
I do want to give Lefty shit though. Lefty takes somebody giving him shit better than anybody in the whole world. He never misinterprets it, you know.
In a day and age where not many people can really take shit that well at all.
You know what? I tell everybody that's Lefty's finest trait is his self-awareness.
There you go. Thank you. And that's coming from, you read my tag there. That's coming from someone with autism. So having self-awareness is one of the greatest tools you can have in your arsenal this day and age.
Really is. And rare as can be too, you know.
That
I mean,
too.
basically, Lefty doesn't even like roll his eyes a little when somebody's saying something like that. But then if it gets offensive, he certainly isn't afraid to fire back. But it's always in less, not always, almost always in lesser kind. You know, it's not advancing something. It's sort of like putting an anchor out, slow it down a little bit. Like he knows like to say, when I saw a guy come riding up on a bike, kind of homing in on the podcast, we were just getting started at the State House, and Lefty didn't see it when he first came up, but he had a keypad bungee corded to his handlebars of his bicycle, and I'm like, I don't get it. And he goes, yeah, you called me a keypad warrior, right? You on Facebook, you called me a keypad warrior. So he brought his keypad down, but instead of getting maybe a reaction he might have expected, Lefty was, did I? Oh, I didn't mean it to sound like that. I'm sorry. And lawyer, you be an asshole. Lefty going, what in particular or why? Because I don't disagree. I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So it's like, it's so disarming. The quickest way to stop any discussion like that seems to be to find one point of agreement and agree. And then it kind of,
I'm an asshole. We can both agree I'm an asshole.
yeah,
Okay.
right. But then he was,
Logical about it.
he was
Yeah.
sitting down on the podcast having a good time. You know, it was, he converted somebody to his self-awareness, apologized, you know, I mean,
Now, that was funny. That was really funny when he did
it
that.
was, wasn't it?
Wait, let
The
me make sure I
keyboard.
got the image right here. He strapped the keyboard from his computer to his bike.
Yeah. To come up at, oh, I'm a keypad warrior, and he rides up on a bike with his keypad like mad.
First thing I think of is you ever see that South Park bit where they're playing World of Warcraft? That guy's like slaps back on his computer. He's got the keyboard like right up there. It's like if he were to take up a more active lifestyle, that's as far as he would go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that stopped. I don't think I heard the end of that.
That's funny.
Or was that me? You know,
No, you're good.
I have a glitch now and then.
Happens. Technology. It's
You know, it is. It really is. Today so far, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know, it's sort of like I never know when I'm asked in the morning by my better 2/3. She'll say, "How are you?" Or "Good morning. How are you?" Because if we get up at different times, or if she gets up and I'm up, "How are you?" And my answer is kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of early to know. I'm awake. I know that, but I don't want to establish my baseline yet. You know, I like to just sort of wake up a little bit. So I find different ways to say I have no fucking idea how I am yet. And, you know, if I'm good, it'll probably average out by the end of the day. All I ask for is no curveballs when I wake up. If I wake up and there's nothing new, bad going on I have to deal with, I feel like it's my day to screw up. And generally, if I have a bad day, 9 out of 10 times, I could have avoided it. So I don't have as many complaints as other people do.
Wizard Cannabis says, we're all grown-ass adults. We should be able to have arguments and disagreements and still be friends and respect each other.
And that's what a level-headed person would say. I think it's a lot of the climate nowadays, leave alone whatever topic of discussion you want to go to. It's the brazen mindset right now where the immediate moment there's a disagreement or something that they most of the time it's something they took personally, not something you said wrong, something they took personally that you're now in trouble for, and that severs the whole logical argument. And
yeah, well, you know, also there should be, and if it's two logical, sane people having opposite points of view or from different directions, always you should be able to find common ground that you do agree on about anything. Doesn't matter what. It can be about like dark chocolate isn't as good as not dark chocolate. I don't know, just something you agree on. And if you can't do that with also with whatever is the point of contention, I can't say I like to say, I just started saying it like about 10 days ago when it occurred to me. But there's two types of people I don't trust. One who's always wrong about something and one who's never wrong about something.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you're never wrong. So what about me? I mean, I look in the mirror a lot, metaphorically speaking, and I don't always like what I see, but I think that's healthy because, I mean, I don't pat myself on the back for good traits so much because I'm worried about getting rid of, I could be better in a lot of areas. And I try to find something, it's for somebody I like, say. I don't like doing political, but, as an example, because that's really a very shallow pool for me. But I can find something wrong with people I like. I can find shit wrong with Lefty,
No,
yeah, right.
Here's the thing to what you said earlier. It's like once you start saying that you're there's no place that you can find that you're wrong, that's when the alarm bells start going off. That's when you're never wrong, that's an alarm bell. And the logic you have to play out, like most people be like, oh, you're being sensitive or this or that, or you're whatever. Here's the logic you play out with that. So if you personally think you're never wrong, then you must think you're something above a human. And if you think you're something above a human, that's usually the type of thing that we hospitalize people over. I'm just saying, like, it seemed to be that I this is the closest I'm going to get to the actual root of it, but like 8-9 years ago, there was a much more clear depiction of right and wrong as far as where you'll go in a conversation, what you'll react to, and how you'll take things. And I feel like that's just not existent anymore.
Fake news. Okay. I've asked everybody, what is fake news to you? Where do you get your news? Because I need to at least believe I have a good chance of reading something that's true. And technology, where my mistake, looking forward to the technology as it hit this parabola curve, like up as far out.
Now we're at AI.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm looking for all things wrong with that already. I don't have a lot of faith in the human race, and not everybody, but the overall, and life is kind of bearing this out in a way that I thought it would make us smarter and give us more news. And it's just given us a way to not really be sure. I find myself saying, if I don't know, I look at a pet. Well, it's probably AI. Nobody could do that. I like looking at quirky things on YouTube. I mean, maybe a pet doing something really, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, that could be AI. Oh, shit, it could. So everything where I get my information could be influenced by bots or AI or whatever. Now, and I'm reading articles and I'm thinking, is this AI assisted? That was a really stupid mistake for any decent human being to make. I mean, we're little shit. So I don't. Yeah, I'm at a crossroads here. Where do you get real news?
So I find that there's 2 points I want to make here. Number one, you found a good source of news when they're covering both sides of the situation. If you read what they're or listen to what they're saying and it sounds very one-sided or it sounds very extreme, don't feed into it. But I think I completely lost my train of thought there. Yeah, it's you got to cover both sides with it though, because if you're not, like, I know it's news if you're only covering one side of the situation, maybe that's your interest. But I feel like if you're going to get a fair reporting and be non-biased, which is how you should be with a lot of this stuff, yeah, I think you should listen to both sides. And I feel like a lot of fake news that's being labeled right now is, without getting too specific, is the ones that are, making the more outlandish claims, the ones that are digressing with messages of digression, if you will.
Yeah.
But
a movie comes back to haunt me a little too. The one where Mel Gibson was a taxi driver and he was conspiracy theories, and he was the advertisements for watching it. I thought the one was funny because you see him in a cab and he's talking to people about, and they can do it with AI. He's just going off. And at one point, he was talking and he turned around and there's nobody in his cab. He's just talking. You know, he's that out there. However, out of his 5 main conspiracy theories, one was true, and nobody would believe it because of the other. So in the back of my mind, it is no matter how outlandish, I still got to say, what if it's true? I mean, I watch BBC because maybe it's less influence. I don't know. Maybe not. I never.
I'd have to agree. I don't watch much of the BBC, but I believe that just because of I feel like their standards and practices.
Yeah, and
Yeah, they're
also,
good.
also, it occurs to me there's a discussion. You know, when you're trying to find a common ground, overlapping ground with somebody. I mean, if you bother having that discussion, I'd like to say the first time somebody says, "Oh yeah, but what about?" And I go, "Okay, I got to be fair with you here, dude. I give everybody the first, oh yeah, but what about?"
There's a good rule.
Okay, after that, I'll be honest with you. I'll be your bobbing head doll, and I'll do this until it's my turn. You know, but I won't be listening to you because I've got to be able to do it about. But what about and say something.
You're playing devil's advocate, or you're playing hypotheticals too much, and too many hypotheticals. It doesn't lead to fact.
Oh, and there's another one. That's like, okay, making a comparison. I'll give you one absurd one, and that's it. You know, I mean, I had this guy that I would share some of my pot with him. I'd sell it to him, but right. I called it sharing. That's what I bought it for, and I didn't really buy and sell myself. You know, but I wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm not going to pass off any to you." And I'm specifically an independent, but I lean Democrat. And he was Republican, but he was really smart. I liked him because he's a great guitar player. And when I tested him, I said, "Listen, I got to ask you about," because we had great conversations, not so much about that.
Right.
This was a while ago, and I said, "Hey, listen, man, tell me your take on when President Bush W. Sat there frozen when he got the news about Mr. President, we're under attack." He was at 3rd grade and he didn't want to scare the kids, so he stayed for a little while. And I said, "What's your take on it?" He goes, "That was fucking crazy, man. I can't believe he did that at all." So he was my guy to talk to. He didn't hesitate to go, you know. He even has to think about certain things. And I don't know. I don't have this conversation often because I have a rule with my friends that lean the other way that we don't talk about it. I'll just get up and leave. I really.
No, but to touch on that real quick, there's a reason for that, and no one says it, and I'm going to say it. There's a contrast between the two subjects. That's between the two parties. That's just it. It's not a leave alone the policy and everything. It's the exact reason, without getting into the specifics of where I voted. It's how the person presents themselves. I don't care what conspiracy or what nonsense you want to get into about the past presidents we've had. We'll get down to the nitty gritty. They're all corrupt. World leaders are corrupt. That's just the end of the day. How corrupt is just to what degree. There was a way that they stood up in front of the American public. There was a way that they held themselves in front of the American public. There was a way that they reassured us. And I don't feel like that's important to a lot of people anymore. And you're muted.
I'm glad I'm glad I had a appropriate gesture. I agree, but I've gone to leaning towards just really not wanting to discuss it too much. I like when I think I can learn something. I have no reason to prove or validate shit I say or believe to anybody. I don't feel the need to. I know I'm probably wrong a certain amount of the times anyway, and I'd be more interested in finding that out. then if it's not going to change or move the needle, I don't know why I'm going to have a discussion. And only one time ever in my time on Facebook did I see it goes on ad nauseum all the time. And usually I'll write a comment and not send it. Then I feel better. Okay, now I feel better. That would have been a good one, but I don't want to have to,
But the guys you don't have that discussion with, like, think about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Those guys you won't have that discussion with, you don't see anyone in that party who's just meh about, like, yeah, I'm going to vote and, whatever, and having those serious discussions. No, it's all the really revved up ones, sometimes about the right reasons, sometimes about the wrong reasons. And, like, I have a friend. I won't name him, but I talk to him about aliens a lot. We play Magic together a lot. And there are some policies that lean a little right that I will absolutely. It's the attitude he takes towards those other subjects that pushes me off from him, that polarizes me. I don't feel like you can have a disagreement with someone of, like, say, someone on the left about a subject and have a rational conversation
all the time.
I feel like just the anger is just baked in as a normalcy of that.
If you're not hearing about the substance of a conversation, just how it went south, I can 9 out of 10 times guess the party affiliation of the person in question. I shouldn't be able to. It's as simple as that. It should be 50-50, leaning maybe. But if I ever once saw somebody in one of those Facebook threads say, oh, now that you mention it that way, I see what you mean. Oh, now I get it better. It almost never happens. I've made it happen twice. And it always takes a specific type of person to go, okay, now that you put it like that, if you include that in the conversation, and it should be, and I'm 90% sure I saved a screenshot of it because I'd never seen it before. Now, if I'm not going to change somebody's mind, if I'm just going to say, here's why I think I'm right, and you tell me why you think all right, and I'll tell you why I think you're wrong, you tell me where I think, and either we're both going to come away totally unchanged. What's the point? I actually have other things I'm not getting to when I do stuff like that. And in my mind, I say, well, listen, if I'm not getting to them, it's on me for even having the discussion. So if I don't think I can move the needle, I rarely get involved, and I don't need to look back and see what anybody had to say about it. Sometimes I'll hit and run.
So here's an analogy for you. Think about this one for a minute. I never thought about it like this. So you definitely have grown up with this kind of media, so you know about this. So, like, the specials we'd get in the 80s, the 90s. I wasn't alive in the 80s, but I watched enough of it. The 80s and 90s, early 2000s. Someone on the right is being faced with a left kind of mindset or movement, and they've come to accept it and then repress it and then fully accept it, and that's the end of the episode. Now name me something where someone on the left took on something on the right. Wow, guys, you know what? You're right. We do need more tougher border security. No, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because the message is not the same there, and there is a certain radicalism in there that is polarizing to people. That's what it is. And yeah, I think that speaks for itself. The media is a very powerful influence on our culture, and back to what we were saying earlier about needing to be able to view both sides of the argument, even being able to play devil's advocate to them at some point, just for understanding. You can't do that, then there's not a balance between the two subjects.
Yeah, my most often used phrase or saying in the last couple of weeks has been batter up. Oh, here's what's going to happen. Batter up. Time for talking's over. It's your turn at bat. Make it a good one. And I'm not even going to be waiting to laugh if or when you strike out, because if you strike out, you're striking out for me too. You know what I mean? Like, because I have to live with the results of it all too. So I'm not
around and find out. That's the
yeah,
wild.
I am not feeling what everybody else is feeling, what everybody else seems to be feeling, because that's hyperbole. Everybody else, nothing ever. You know, if we all, okay, I want to hear it. We won't.
Well, and that's the thing too.
I make that.
I feel like, and I love, by the way, how for the past 25 minutes, we've done everything we can to stay as vague as we can about this. Loving it. It's really funny. But I really feel like when that hit, and I feel like, this assumption is true that when that hit a couple of 2 weeks ago, and the numbers came in, there was some immediate buyer's remorse, and there's some developing buyer's remorse. And I think it's just being shown by, them pushing through who they want to push through without regard for anything. Someone who's, let's just be vague about another one, basically a bro, the kind of bro that you'd see on like, a stock floor or something, showing videos of last night's encounter with a woman that no one wants to see. That's not who we want representing us as a people. Those are the type of dudes I went to Rumson High School with, and they were terrible.
Well, I grew up hearing anyone can be president, and I grew up saying
Sad truth.
Absurd. However, now I'm not sure I could make that argument, because it's sort of like, okay, I will. I'm trying so hard not to use any, all, never.
Light it up.
Oh man, what are you, like, bragging or
Smoke them if you got them?
Let me see if I can smell it. Oh, I think
I can definitely smell the backwoods from here. That's what that is. I think it's a backwoods.
Sure.
Am I right? All right.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. It's a Havana.
These are amazing. These are the best.
I got these, to divert real quick. I got these strawberry. Have you ever had the cones that have the little bit in them that you crush for the flavor?
No.
Oh, those are heavenly. The taste
Really?
on those are just incredible. But
I never even heard of that.
oh yeah, go to your local smoke shop and ask for them. They're great. But I think the thing that hurt for me the most though with this was that growing up, like a lot of when I talk to a lot of people about these past couple of months, I've always attributed my father to this because he raised me on a lot of relevant lessons to this. If someone tells you what they're going to do, believe them. Judge a person by the company that they keep. Your karma will come to you. All that good stuff. And it just seems like, it's a personal for me because it kind of just is like, yeah, no, that's not. Doesn't apply to this. Not the most. No, that you don't need. And I don't know. I guess it's just, yeah, like I said, personal. Maybe a little bit nostalgic heartbreak for me of seeing things topple. Like that's I didn't want to use that word, but like we've all been feeling like that shift of from like the vibe of the 90s, the late 2000s, early 2000s, and I don't know. It just didn't make me feel good. Not to say the obvious, but
well, I think a lot of people are finding it's better to shrink their world more to what you can see in your own actual real world. There's two worlds. I mean, this is one right here.
Well, yeah,
but not really. This is a cool phone call between multiple people where you can see each other. I love doing this just once a week to stay in touch.
And it's important because it's what we also need to be doing, coming together.
Yeah.
That is our, like, I've been saying this all the time on my page, and I tell this to everyone I talk to about this. Our greatest tool against all of them is literally coming together, is literally banding together more as a community, something we have done so much less in the world since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And that needs, like, casual gatherings, just meeting up with people outside of a shop or something. Like, it needs to happen more. It's good for the psyche. It's good for the soul. And you have the same conversation enough times with a person, their view might change. The information might sink in. Their conscience might wake up. But there's so much importance right now to banding together more with people, not trying to find more reasons to separate and divide yourself.
Yeah, I wish I could find this visual representation of that really, man, it hit home for me. It was somebody had um, a camera set up. I mean, it was out in the Serengeti or something. I mean, it was sort of not here, obviously, African somewhere, and pretty wide open. And there was like two, I don't know what they were with their antlers, not deer, something.
Antelope.
I don't know. They were hooked up. They were jockeying. So I'm watching that, and then I see, which was not in the picture, a younger one gets up and runs, and that's when I noticed that little speck getting bigger and bigger, coming right at him. They didn't see it, and and all of a sudden, honestly, I'm trying to remember, was it a lion or a tiger? I think it was like I'm not, I don't know a lot about that bunch of animals, but what got me is at the last minute when they noticed the young one going, they peeled off.
Yeah.
It was too late, just made a decision left or right. One got taken down, one got away. But that's if we got to keep our eyes on the prize, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That is, I cannot believe I haven't thought about that yet. Absolutely. That is a wonderful, wonderful analogy.
I wish I could see, I wish I knew where I put it. And I look for it now and then. It's got to be out there. Maybe I'm just not doing the right looks. It was Absolutely. On YouTube, but I watched that over and over. And we're just doing this, as if the rest of the world ceasing to exist, and it's not. We are not paying attention to, there are real enemies of ours, not within, and that's why some things kind of worry me for the future. When I say for the future, I was born at just the right time. I'm 72, I'll only see so much of this play out. I heard all the good music. I was around when, things were simpler. It was.
Springsteen's not dead yet.
It's a whole bunch of things. It's like when I was little, you could ask any woman where her kids were, and she always knew. Outside. Where? Outside. Playground, maybe over at a friend's house, outside. And, everything.
He's on his bike.
Well, that's the best, but and I get what you mean with that, and that sentiment's definitely true. But to be fair, I mean,
no, it had to disappear.
In the 80s and 90s, if your kid went out, Mom, I'm going outside. Okay, yeah. Cool. I sincerely hope you come back.
Yeah, I worry for the future, but it's not internalized with me. I don't have any children, never had children of my own. So I feel I don't like to say that to larger groups of people, because it's sort of like, maybe that's why. Maybe it's like why, because I don't have any children, I don't count as much, like we heard that in a debate, childless cat ladies or whatever. And I thought, am I a childless cat man?
Which, by the way, can I just say?
Go for it, man. It's fun.
Did you guys learn the origin of that story? It's hysterical.
I start to remind me. I think it's not coming up in a linear form.
Who posted something saying that her cat was missing, and then that was where the story was picked up. And right when that picked up, she posted saying that my cat, I think his name was Mr. Prancers, which is hysterical. That this whole story is based around a cat with that kind of name,
Mr.
And I think it is a huge, I'll just say right now, a huge flop on the internet's part. Granted, I didn't jump on this either, but where was the Fast and the Furious reference to J.D. Vance? Family.
No. Well, yeah, it's I everybody, you almost have to go looking for, hey, is that an insult? That's where I thrive on Facebook. It is, I like to do things like my best work of all was going back in the beginning. And it was when John Bone, I call him Boner so much, John Boehner was no longer the Speaker of the House.
Right.
So basically, there was a lot of complaining about, well, it wasn't Nancy Pelosi right then, was it? Whoever is Democratic Speaker. And I wrote something up that totally eluded it being the Speaker, because then when I refer to the, on purpose, and I write somewhat, so I know how to get that out just right. It's like a joke, and also, well, it's because the doctor was a woman, at the end of a thing. And it was just fun to let the comments come in agreement, thinking it was something I wasn't saying, and then I had to clarify. I'm sorry, I didn't get back to my thread here. No, this was John Boehner. I wasn't talking about, and it was like I don't know, it was kind of fun. Yeah, I really do take part though, because I got one core issue. It's home birth for patients. It consumes me, and that's because of personal experience and being too close for too long to the pain something like multiple sclerosis can cause to the whole family. And I can't not be involved in that. So like, this is like fun getting away a little bit to like more of the roots of stuff. I really enjoy this. And then I'm not talking about relative to now, but when I'm doing other things, if I spend too much time on any one thing and I hear myself answer an unasked question, yeah, this isn't more important than getting home grows or anything I could be doing. Yeah, well then do it, Jim. But my own self introspection, and I can look back in Facebook. I made a comment about it one time. It could have been 3, 4, 5 months ago. That it's sort of not a curse, but now Kathy, whom I live with, or we live together, she'll be in the other room. It'll be quiet. I'll go, I don't want to. And she'll say, "You talking to me?" Oh no. Well, there's nobody else here. It's quiet. There's no noise in here. What happens is I figured something out, oh no, you don't want to smoke anything yet because you're going to be going to do this. Oh, I was reaching for something that,
Well, there's a stigma.
I don't want to wait. I'll say, I know, but I say that because the self-awareness I've always had, what I've learned to do is realize that, especially because it's coming from within me, it's exactly what I should do when I don't want to. If I don't figure out shit that I don't want to do and fool myself into thinking I can do it, I really don't want to do it, and I really know I should. And it's kind of funny in a way, because so many things have gotten easier in my life since it's actually a left side, right side thing. This is my left shoulder. I don't know if is it backwards. Anyway, yeah. And I don't know why that is. It's not like a voice. It's just like, and I have
too. You have to parse it out with logic. Like, you have to say, okay, why don't I want to do this thing? And once you parse it out and you say, well, those are stupid reasons, I'm going to do it. Absolutely.
That's the discussion, right? And it happened. It happened one time with a refrigerator door open, because I'll have a couple of beers now and then. When I say a couple, I mean a couple, 2. On Sundays I'll have a third. It's a family thing I do every Sunday, and whatever. But in between, it's to set it up properly, so it's not a big deal for me. But it was like I had some writing I needed to do, and when I'm writing, editing, I spend more time on than the actual writing. The writing's a format, I fix it later. I mean, it's like a groundwork,
Right.
So it depends if I'm just laying out groundwork, but I was editing. And for editing, I need to try to find my zone. My zone, the portal to it is the same coconut oil, cannabis out of the magical butter machine.
So it's
can be
funny you.
orally.
Yes.
And I don't eat cookies, and then I'm gonna brush my teeth first. No, I just take a dab, and I do that before I get on Zoom meetings, depending, because I do have a zone, and I know when I'm in it. I mean, when I'm writing, I go,
That's a mind state to be in. I think he froze.
wow.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Wow, I said that can be turned off like that sometimes about something else.
You
And I
just you went. It was really funny because you went like this. You were like,
yeah, but I could.
I was like, how did he do that? How did he do that?
That was a great trick, Jim. That was really
I was
cool.
gonna be like, that's incredible.
It could be the bomb. Stuff like that, I swear to God, happens. Streetlights go out if I go outside.
I'm gonna tell you a story because that's actually funny you say that with the coconut. So a big part I find with the editing is I do all of it for me is the motivation. Now, last April, when if you remember, we were getting like within the first 2 weeks, we were getting like a buttload of rain. And I remember waking up one of those mornings and just seeing it outside, just like, I can't get my mind to do anything in this. This is terrible. I just want to go back to bed after I eat. But I thought, you know what? If anything, I'm going to go to the dispensary. Hopefully something there will set my mind right. That's the first time I tried Timeless. The first time I found them there was that day. Skunk, Sweet Island Skunk strains, excellent for motivation. That was the first strain I tried for them. I got home. I remember just getting so much editing done, more than I thought I would get done through the entire day. And it has a very coconutty vibe too, Skunk. So I definitely incentivize with the coconut helping the whole getting the editing done thing.
Well, that you do your own editing, you probably go through very similar experience. It's funny. Never have I had a conversation where somebody says, "Yeah, I know," So just to see how first of all, I never ever finish editing. I just quit. I've never. I mean, when I say something, if it's anything over 5,000 words, as an example, I leave it alone, and I get back and I read it. I get in my zone if I can, and as I read it, my mind's about ready to read it one way, like wrong words to a song, and then when the song's on, you start singing right when you realize. But I can do that with my own writing, and it's just I've gotten so good on for me good on Word where I can real quick separate the part I'm working on, and I can try different things. I don't and then I can read it through in this one or that one. Oh, and all of a sudden it's deleted up where it goes. But then 2 days later, I'll read it and I'm thinking, how far am I going to get? And sure enough, there's more to be made. But it's diminishing returns, though. It's like in Breaking Bad, when it was being explained by whatever. Okay, I can get up to 96%. To get to 98, those last 2%, I know it doesn't sound like much. That's like with the editing. And damn if when I'm ready to quit, I make an edit and go, holy shit, that's it. Oh, I got to read it.
If you ever find yourself in a pit and need some editing done, here's my card.
I wish I could. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed occasionally to sharing what I'm doing with somebody. It's a long-term project,
What if you don't mind me asking, what is it exactly?
Well, it's Sue, the latest board member to Sativa Cross, registered nurse. She's my age, so she's smart about a lot of things, But
Right.
she also writes, and she has a publisher, and she was telling him about me and the things, the little stories that I get to tell sometimes. And and then she said, "You ever think about writing that down?" I said, "Yeah, I got about 50 some thousand words right after Cheryl died, my late wife." Yeah, you'd actually have to. What I tell people, if you just Google search Jim Miller medical marijuana NJ or something, it's easier to do that and just find out my catapult into.
Has Lefty shown you my rant on homegrown cannabis? I think he saw that one.
No, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, he'll have to send that over to you.
Yeah.
I'll find you and do it. Yeah. So if you remember, I'll catapult into this. Sure, why not? So if you remember, if you watch Family Guy, they did a series in the early 2000s. There's a little bit they did in the beginning. It's called a Grinds My Gears series, where he would depict him on the news, just talking about little nitpicks and annoyances. And that was a topic I covered on a tribute I did of that. Just the nonsense that is homegrown cannabis laws.
Yeah. Well, my latest endeavor with this, now that we're actually, and what we do on our Tuesday gatherings, it's like free form, just like this,
I like it.
Yeah. So I really enjoy this, but it always does seem to, by itself, sort of come back to, I don't know, the realities of why I even do this. It's not just about home grow. I keep looking for the lowest common denominator, the one step. And when a bill for home grow for the registered patients is not allowed to have a first hearing, an informational hearing, to keep information from getting out, why
Yeah.
it would be good. Because when that happens, non-patients, grown-ass adults who have to buy a weed that's now legal to have dead, but if it's alive in your yard, you're in a fuckload of trouble. It's sort of like they are going to get restless again, like right after it was passed. What do you mean it doesn't have home grow? The ignorant. When I say ignorance, I don't mean that in a bad
The hypocrisy.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't something that was voted on. That meant it didn't have to happen. Holy crap! This New Jersey's going to want a big slice of that pie. They're not going to just let right off. But
I honestly thought we were going to have to start worrying about competing with Florida's prices this year, but they got shafted real hard.
Yeah. Well, New Jersey sets the shafting tone sometimes too.
I heard something, and I'd like to hear if you had an opinion about this. I've heard rumblings about that it was the fear that one company was going to dominate the monopoly down there if it was legalized.
If home grow is legalized?
Yes, truly. And also, there was no home grow. So Ron DeSantis was saying about, there's no home grow, so we should definitely vote no because there's no home grow.
Ron DeSantis is a whole basket of nonsense altogether.
Yeah.
If you're a person who runs a state, wakes up one day, puts on high heel boots, and then looks at your wife and assistant and says, "And no one will remember I was short." That's the plain and simple of it. And then walks on the TV. No, something's wrong with you. And I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I don't believe dispensaries shaft everyone. I think businesses will shaft everyone. That's just the plain and simple.
Yeah.
But I think that, as someone who's worked for a dispensary, and let me tell you, not all of them were saints, but they want to help. They're there to answer questions for you. These are people that are enthusiastic about cannabis, and I think that if your complaint is that the prices are high. Oh, your complaints are the prices are high in New Jersey. Where's my bugle horn?
Yeah. Well, what Chris Goldstein compares them to prices right across the river in Pennsylvania, and it's an MSO producing the same exact material, medicine for each group. That if it's more than twice as much in New Jersey as Pennsylvania, you know, there's something wrong, and it's, you know, well, they're going to point at the state and they're going to point at the MSO. Who knows, you know?
It's really laziness, though. No, I find
Oh, well, I wanted one thing too, because things go through my brain, and as I'm getting older, they don't circle back through as quickly.
Yeah,
When I agreed with what you said about politicians, and I'm not an all or nothing guy almost ever, but that's as close to all as you're going to get. That they all have other motivation. You're really not, you know, it's all that, but that's because that's who gets elected. It's not like people occasionally don't do it. I wish I remembered his name. He was from either Arizona or New Mexico, maybe 24 years ago, picking and twos because it's cyclical for 2 years. He ran as the guy that wouldn't be like that. He was what we wanted, and he got elected. Problem is, he got elected, but because he was like he was being, he didn't get any real committee assignments. He got no bills passed, and he got easily defeated 2 years later because he got nothing done. It was, he got nothing done. So he was replaced. He was there for 2 years, but he couldn't change and go against the tide by himself. It was like John Belushi in Animal House. Let's get him! And he goes running out, and everybody's just sitting there.
Who's with me?
Yeah, who's with me?
You're the 300.
Yeah, it was like that for this 2 year, one-term congressman. And I really felt for him because I was so happy that he got elected because I was following stuff all over the country. And so that kind of, you know, if what I always used to like to say, and I suppose it's still true, is the playing field is not fair. Get over it, everybody. It's not fair. If we can change it, we should, but it's not fair. But it's not planar. It's not like tilting where everything's sliding the same way. It's undulating, you know. Overall, it's not fair. We do own certain methods. Like when I walked up anywhere with Cheryl, my late wife, laying back in the wheelchair, which reclined, and people thought it was a gurney at times, you know, and she was like this and all, and she could only move her head a little bit in her arms and just as pitiful as could be. Yeah, that opened fucking doors, you see. That was where the playing field totally favored us. I could open any door just by showing up to a degree. So we were in Washington 9 times, and it's almost unfair. I try not to feel sorry for people. I mean, and if they weren't going along, I'd say something like, listen, you know, this is time sensitive. How long do you think she has to live? And they, well, I don't know. You're damn right you don't know. So start acting like you don't know. And it wasn't rude. I could command that every time with her. And I remember sitting with my friend Gary Stork after her. She had a memorial in Washington at the Supreme Court, and people came from all over the country. MS patients and students in Central Drug Policy had a lobbying day. It was a whole 3-day thing. And after it was over, we were just having a bite to eat on the sidewalk, eatery. And I asked him, I said, how long do you think the after effects will last? He goes, not long, man. You start showing up by yourself, you better have pictures, you know. And he was right. It was really different.
It's, you know, I feel like there are a lot of topics that, you know, has. Good. Sorry.
I see what Lefty's got up here. This is 1998. What happened is we couldn't get arrested in New Jersey 3 weeks before. Was it 3 weeks or no? It was a half year before. When from her hospital bed in front of the State House, we did an illegal tincture test, and it was announced in the Star Ledger. So there were troopers there, but they didn't want to bust it up because we would win, and you know. So finally, the media showed up, and they saw how tight she was. Like, she's doing pretty good in this picture right here. And that is because she had cannabis by then, you know. Well, anyway, this here, was she liked the idea for some reason. We saw something about Rosa Parks, a documentary, and she loved it, and she decided, even though we didn't get arrested in Toms River, I mean in Trenton, we should go break the law and she'd consume her medicine in Washington. And I explained that's a big different deal. It's not the same thing. We will get arrested. And she went, well, isn't that what we want to do? Because nobody would want to put her through the system. That took a lot of faith on her part, you know, and me as well, because I pulled the trigger and stuff, or I also stopped too, you know. I know when. But anyway, yeah, we went there, and everybody knew why. The Capitol Police were there. As we went in, they made me lift her out of the chair so dogs could check for explosives. And that, come on, tell me that they're looking for the bud. You know, we didn't have any, but there was about 30 Capitol Police, maybe 25. There's 19 boom mics. You can't count TV cameras, but you can see the boom mics. So I did a count of 19, and it couldn't be stopped. I mean, from the minute we decided to do that. So anyway, this is the NBC News footage that ran, and that changed the course of events, actually. Okay, let's roll that, Lefty.
And 51-year-old Cheryl Miller says she has had multiple sclerosis for 27 years. To relieve one of MS's debilitating symptoms called spasticity, her husband feeds her marijuana.
Medical marijuana has saved her life. She would not be alive today, judging by all her friends with MS that have gone by the wayside since she has been using it. And she's never recreationally used marijuana in her life. She does not smoke marijuana. She does eat it and drink it, as the World Book Encyclopedia says can be done.
Guided by lobbyists for a legalization group called the Marijuana Policy Project, the couple took reporters into a House office building today, past security checkpoints, into the offices of California Congressman James Rogan, who opposes most uses of medicinal marijuana. Then they chowed down.
That's marijuana. That's Cheryl's medicine.
Give it up.
Let some security through. Let some security through. Cheryl is in possession of marijuana right now.
Cheryl's got some marijuana right down there. We call it medicine. You can call it whatever you want. And there is no law in the world that's going to stop me from doing what I can for her. She's not going to live much longer. Does everybody get it?
Capitol Police arrived moments later.
This is an arrestable offense. I'm demonstrating in the building. No, it's not in the building. You have to have a permit.
Congressman Rogan spoke to the couple briefly, then clarified his position to reporters as to the use of medicinal marijuana.
I said on the record in Judiciary Committee that although I did not support medicinal use of marijuana in the main, I would make an exception for terminally ill patients or people that appear to be in Cheryl's condition.
Police confiscated the couple's marijuana.
We tested positive for THC. At that point, they were placed under arrest. In a moment, they're going to be transported out. They'll be processed as U.S. Capitol Police headquarters.
Doug McKelway, News 4, Capitol Hill.
That still makes me laugh when I see it, though.
I mean, you know, I just want to say, like,
this is old days.
No, but that's so powerful. Like,
it was.
I'm sorry.
It had to work. See, there was no way it couldn't work.
Like that was on so many levels beautiful and incredible, and
it was.
It shows that, and the lifelessness of the people, those cops that just come in and are willing to have no regard for that person at all. Are just doing what they're programmed to do.
Yeah.
Talk to the cameras like they're programmed to talk to.
What I really need to get, one, a copy of the arrest report, and two, I've never got our mugshots. I want our mugshots. First of all, it'll be my hand with her numbers, because when it's Cheryl, could you hold this? She can't move, dude. Oh, okay. You know, I mean, the whole thing was like a comedy routine. I think
I love how you looked at it like that.
But you know, when they it's like playing poker. I would love to play poker with them because they were expressive enough. I knew exactly what was going on. And I was so relaxed, and I'm fucking deadly when I'm relaxed in a situation like that. I got time. I can pick out shit out of that train going through my head like this and get it out before anybody can take a breath. And what happened was, okay, have you been arrested before? Cheryl went, no. To me, you? No. Okay, how did two people this age get to be not arrested ever? That means they got to start from the beginning. They don't build upon a record. They got to create it, and that's a lot more work somehow. I mean, I can understand. So they called in they had two police, they had 4 others in, and the person running the show just to get our information. And you could see they were so uncomfortable. And Cheryl's like there, and they go, okay, Cheryl, so says what, how old? Okay. Oh, do you have any children? Yes, I have 3. My oldest son's in a band. And they looked at each other like, she is not only scared or intimidated, she's out for a walk in the freaking park. She's out on a sunny day. This is like recreation to her, being outside and doing this with me. And all of a sudden she's doing something nobody else in the world can, and it's going to affect so many people. Yeah, I'm no stranger to saying I did everything I did for Canada's perform her because I was scared.
And no, that's rightfully so. And I wasn't saying I'm blaming the officers. I'm saying that's part
No,
of
I get it. Yeah.
To what he's commenting about that's how they train them. But
The reason I want to tell you, I don't want to interrupt.
They were on camera too. Those officers were in a
I'll forget if I didn't interrupt. Their name, Officer Miller and Officer Washington. So we have Cheryl Miller being transported by Officer Miller in Washington. You know, this is like when I said like that and everything went blank on your screen. It was one of those moments. Like, you guys are so screwed, you know? Okay, can you get her in the chair? Right? You know, and say, oh, here we are. And I can't help you load this up in the bus. She rides in the car with me. How about you put her in the back seat? I'll take care of her. We can't do that. I'm sitting over on the other side of the truck. This is your ball game, you know. And
you know, I just to touch on something the Wizard Cannabis said earlier about the dispensaries. Look, if that video right there is not motivation or reason enough, like it or not, the dispensaries are our start of where we get our weed. Legally in New Jersey, in the United States and New Jersey. These people are not creating mass chaos. They're not committing violence. They may not be putting it at prices you like and not having the availability you like. But if we want those type of videos not to happen anymore, if we want people to be able to seek relief how they want to, we need to. And I'm not saying you were giving any grief anyway. This was just a jumping off point, Cannabis. Don't worry about that. But we need to support them. That's just the plain and simple. Because those kind of videos break my heart, in a good way and a bad way. Like this is a man right here. He stood by his woman, broke the law with his woman, did what his woman needed to stay well and alive, and at the same time, you know, like he met with so much resistance and went through the experience he went through. That's I think that's just we've been talking about for all these years when the great time it'll be when cannabis is legalized. And now I just want these dispensaries and the industry to get our support. I think you're muted.
Hi, Marina.
Man, you really missed it. I probably can't remember that. Oh shit. Nah, it was nothing. I just tried.
Hey, you're good. You're good.
Just messing with you. It's the bomb. I can't help it. You know.
Hey, you're good.
Just so you know what Cheryl got on this, and you know, I'd say I'd be done with it. Next year, she's laying down in Bob Barr's office doorway. You want to walk all of her patients? You can start with me. Whole nother story. we got a better room after that. We were not in a great room. All of a sudden, the marijuana policy project, the fledgling, they were like almost brand new. They realized this was their biggest fundraiser they'd ever had, their biggest membership drive, because this was worldwide. I mean, it really was covered, and they were getting phone calls. Yeah. So, but what happened was we were staying at Crown Plaza with an E. We set off a fire alarm where everybody had to go down into the lobby because we were smoking pot, and we set off. So
you started that off. We set off a fire. We were annoyed.
Yeah. And then we were all in the lobby, but it was like Cheryl, and it was in that room, and they couldn't like kick us out. I had her on the couch in the lobby, and there's like 60, 70 people milling around and all. But anyway, on the way out the next morning, we'd already checked out, so I didn't have to go over to the desk. And we were walking out, and I hear, "Oh, Mr. Miller, do you want? We have some extra USA Todays. Do you want them? You're on page 6. Hell yeah! And, oh, we're on page 6, USA Today. Awesome. So we got them, and we walked outside. First person going by was a woman dressed for like business, like a pantsuit and all. She looks at her and goes, "I saw you on the news last night. Good for you. Good for you." Just walking by, It's just how Cheryl's next day started out, So, I mean, it was like in her life, for everything else we'd done, I mean, from pushing her wheelchair across the state in 93 to get notice in New Jersey. Yeah, when she showed up, there was a new sheriff. And, oh, yeah, she made a commercial for the Libertarian Party against Bob Barr, the person whose office doorway she was laying down in. His position on appropriations meant that when Washington, D.C. passed their Initiative 60, I forget which it was. It was legalizing medical marijuana. He made sure there was no funds to institute it, and you can't use private funding. And basically, he canceled it out. And Cheryl didn't like that. So anyway, we met with him, not telling him why we were there. We were scoping out his office, and we had a quick talk with him, and told him why we were there, because of his opposition. We were made to leave pretty quick. And then 2 days later, we were there. Well, libertarians made this commercial, and it ran the last 2 weeks in the primary, where he was in a redistricting in Georgia, and there was 2 Republican representatives in the same district, John Linder and Bob Barr. So this is where we could get rid of Bob Barr. Right at he was leading John Linder 45 to 42%, 2 weeks before the election or the primary, and this ran the last 2 weeks because they made it 6 weeks before, but they wanted to bunch it together, and they leaked it. So there was promos. Everybody's waiting for this in Georgia, and it came on, and he lost 64 to 36. How do you go from being up by 3 to winning 64 to 36 2 years later? This is how. If you look at Bob Barr on Wikipedia, that part about this links to this. So if somebody's looking at his Wikipedia, they can always find out all about this. Anyway, roll that tape, Lefty.
This woman in jail?
I am Cheryl Miller. I have multiple sclerosis. I use medical marijuana. Bob Barr thinks I should be in jail for using my medicine. Why would you do that to me, Bob?
When the drug war turns on our own sick and dying, it's gone too far, and so has Bob Barr.
Why would you do that to me, Bob?
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah, that was the 2-second pause that kicked him out right there. When she couldn't say in one breath, "Why would you do that to me, Bob? Why would you do that to me, Bob?" The first time I saw that, the people that showed it to me, they were like ready to cry. I was, holy shit, this is it. So we got news that he was out 20 minutes before it was on TV, because of Ron Krickenberger, who made this, was keeping an eye on things. And and then we sent Bob Barr an email, and the largest size you could simply said, "You're dismissed," with an exclamation point. Then he changed his mind as a libertarian, gave a talk at St. John's, where is it? No, St. Columbia, maybe, in Manhattan, law school. He was there to debate Ethan Nadelman. But he changed his mind. It wasn't a debate. He said, "Oh, it's a states' rights issue. If you let them do this, then he was on our side." So I saw him in the lobby, and it was kind of fun. I was playing a loop of this commercial in the lobby where people would see it before they went. He assured me, he said, "I think you're going to like what I have to say in there." And yeah, and they talked about it a little bit. So yeah, you can have.
I think it hits like more like your the impact of it alone and the message behind it alone, but also the fact that like I grew up in that hue of television. Like that was that it's very nostalgic for me. So yeah, very powerful altogether.
Yeah, it was she was a force, you know. It was that when National Normal they started a Peter McWilliams Award for achievement in the area of cannabis reform, medical cannabis reform. And it was like really, you know, that meant a lot to her, you know, compared to what was going on in other areas to be recognized. But, you know, Lefty is one of the few people who, you know, got to meet Cheryl. So she passed on in 2003. And that's why I'm writing about it now. That's my fault, you know. And there's a message in there, just like anyone can be president. We know that's true now, not from a good thing. Yeah, anybody can have an effect. Just show up, do what you got to do. If you have courage or your conviction, it really is. You know, everything we ever did, me walk, push her chair, we talked. That's it. We didn't juggle. We didn't solve complex equations. We didn't have we walked. We didn't do anything. We did what anybody could do, and I think that wasn't lost on Cheryl. That because if she could do it, anybody could. You know. Absolutely. So then that leads to my dictum of everybody's got, I think, a good right to bitch about shit that needs somebody to bitch about it. But if you bitch about something and you try to affect a little bit of a solution, or at least offer a solution, or come up with a, you know, you could be considered an advocate. If you really try to get that to be put into effect and go beyond simply typing and talking, then you'd be an activist, you know.
Absolutely.
But if all you do is bitch about something and don't do anything, don't offer a solution, you don't show up to help, and you certainly don't do anything to get it done. If all you do is bitch about it, it makes you a bitch. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I don't even have to say the second bitch. I say, what does that make you? By definition, a bitch. Okay, a bitcher. You know, but we'll shorten it because that's what you always do. So like either are or you aren't. And you know, Cheryl was that show up. And I'm tell you what, you don't just show up in Washington with Cheryl. You know, I went to Rhode Island with her 3 months before she died. Went to Students for Sensible Drug Policy's Northeast Conference, and man, she solidified some of the best college minds on what was going on. A whole crop came out of there just for meeting her. You know?
Incredible. I mean, she seems like the type of person that really just attracts people of good nature.
Yeah, well, she was also Edith Bunker. If you ever watched All in the Family, most people haven't, but she was the one who was just so straightforward, obvious. It was like that was her, you know. She was supposed to. Oh yeah, listen, Cheryl, it'd be better. Why don't you want to smoke? Light up a joint in Jim Rogan's office? And she's like, oh, I don't smoke. You know, a planning session. See, we went there to do this. We hadn't met anybody. I had a conference call with 6 people at Marijuana Policy Project and some a researcher I know. They got the right people for the job to do this. We didn't know who they were. We just found out about them when normal. I don't know if they thought we were serious, but anyway, when we got right down to doing it, and they met Cheryl, and we got to the motel room, and when they were saying you do it, she goes, "No, but I don't smoke it. I eat it, you know." And he goes, "Oh, I'd be like just for the view of it." He said, "But I'd be trying to fool people. I don't want to fool people. I don't. No, she won't do it." And then they looked to me, and all I could say was, you know, hey, you can talk to her all you want, you know. And then they met the real Cheryl and Dr. Dennis Petro, who was the leading neurologist in this country working on marijuana as medicine. He was especially, and he's a neurologist working with MS. I mean, he was the main man in the freaking world that we would want to be there right then. So when he says to me, when I plopped her on the bed and they were already there, when I put her down, it hurt my back. It hurt because I broke it at one point, years and years before that. And when I went, oh, she went, oh, I'm sorry, honey. And, you know, I think they were like, and sort of shocked. They didn't think it was this advanced. I don't know what they expected, you know. But when Dr. Petra said, Jim, do you mind if I talk to Cheryl, a little exam? I said, Doc, bedside manners, dude. Oh, I'm sorry, Cheryl. Do you mind? You know. So I turned around, and we were talking. I was introducing myself to the other people that were talking, and after about a minute of what he was doing, they were talking to me. When he stands back up, everybody stopped, and he goes, not good. Oh, it was so awesome because right after he said it's not good, you could just hear a quiet voice go, "Oh, I'll be okay." It was just she was like scolding him, "I'll be okay," and it was like, you know. And then Dr. Petro came and testified about our impending law. He suggested it be named after Cheryl, and I spent most of the next couple decades really being glad it wasn't, because I would have to say, get her name off that. It doesn't include homegrown. So, one more thing, and I think I got this. Yeah, I promised her.
I just want to say one more, but before you touch on that, this has been great talking to you guys, and honestly, I was unaware of your story, Jim, and I am so glad I got to hear it. It's really an honor getting to talk to you, and
I appreciate
this
that.
kind
You're right. Your line of logic is pretty impressive from my point of view. I must say. We overlap a lot, you and me.
It's an honor to hear you say that. Thank you so much.
No, it's we need more like you. And Lefty, I mean, he knows. I don't have to tell him what I think of him. He knows, but he also did go.
I want to know more about how you got the name Bucket Man.
Oh, thank you.
We wanted to know that. That was our question.
Well,
that was
Pete,
our interview question.
The days come. I have to lay this out and have people hear this. Okay. So I don't know how fulfilling this answer is going to be, and this is why I've really dreaded this a lot. So I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series a lot when I was a kid. Kick-ass show, awesome animation, really ahead of its time. And the big thing that, with from the mindset of a child with autism, when I hear Batman the Animated Series, the first thing I think of is the scene in the intro where he's standing on top of the building, and there's just there's a flash of lightning, and he's just standing there. But for some reason, the autism put a bucket on his head. So that's where that stemmed from. It was a username after username from there, and then I was like, you know what? I'll just jump from this. And I've built on several metaphors from it, and it's people seem to like it. But yeah, that's it. You're muted again, Jim.
I love it.
Thank you.
So you play off of it, like you said. How do you
I
play
like
off
it.
of it? Different
Well, I've
names
tried.
off of it?
I've tried to. Well, at the first, I really tried to incorporate the actual symbolism of the bucket, and then I felt like that wasn't necessary. There are plenty of it finally sunk into me. All those times people say like, just go with it, don't think too much about things and whatnot, and it's kind of become this like thing of not everything's what it seems. Don't judge a book by its cover. If you're looking at the bucket man, you're gonna get a guy who wears a kimono and smokes a lot of weed and plays card games. That's not what you were expecting. What's wrong?
That's even better yet. Yeah, well, why do you not want to tell that story?
It was, it's not that I didn't want to tell it. It's that I've never actually had to tell it in this setting before. So I've never had So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not like this is just between us,
No, believe me, I know.
Well, that's. I'll tell you. We definitely get some interesting answers to questions when Lefty's on his game thing. I was gonna, at one point delve into that, but I don't know. I'm just so used to calling people like there's people I actually know better than I know anything about their real name or why they have that. I mean, I'm
a righty.
I've always made my alter ego. I just take the space out of between Jim and Miller because my whole life, my name's not just been Jim Miller. It's been Jim Miller. It has to have that little Jim Miller. Like I'm hiccuping for in between, and I realize that.
It's stapled to your name.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like two M's in a row. It just sounds like one. But then when I pushed the wheelchair across the state, a friend of mine went, "Oh man, you're like Jim Miller, like the old Jim Bowie." Jim Bowie. Yeah, change that. And then you go, Jim Miller. He's a bold and adventurous man. Because
I want now both a folk song like that developed. Anyone out there? But I now more immediately want a sativa strain, if not sativa dominant, called Jim Miller.
Oh, well, you know what? Jim Miller. See, it sounds good.
It's an uplifting, motivating strain.
Yeah.
That has a good amount of limonene, so it keeps your mood up and keeps you joyous and happy. There's so many jumping off points you did. Old man Miller. It was Old Man Miller down from the well. He was the one haunting this factory all along.
Well, I don't know if you know the song "Whiter Shade of Pale."
Yes, love that song.
Okay, good. I'm not a guitar player. I play a guitar. I'm not a keyboard guy, but I'm loving learning with all the YouTube stuff. And I've always liked that song. And what I do when I get there, it's like as the Miller told his tales. It's I know I'm not going to sing it. I do sing it, but anyway, I just say as Jim Miller told his tale. About a face at first just ghostly, turned a whiter shade of pale. Ooh. Yeah, it's got this.
Specific. Which version are we talking about here?
Oh, I'm talking about the whiter shade of pale, Gary Brooker and Procol Harum. And okay, you're gonna love this.
Yes.
Look up on YouTube. I like reaction videos.
Yes.
And I like them because I like when I find somebody like the exact same part of a song or a joke or something that I find funny. And with this, it's the 2000 Whiter Shade of Pale, 2000. It'll come up 2006. Not reaction videos, but the actual Danish Symphony Orchestra 2006 Whiter Shade of Pale, because they had cameras. They put it together awesome, and they blended in a symphony orchestra to that song where they did this long beginning, just the orchestra. Then
Yeah, it was amazing. It's
when,
really good.
when Gary Brooker came on and went, Triple Light Fandango, when he hit that, he had this baritone, this honey.
There are certain tones. There are certain. It's not specific.
Oh my God.
To a certain
Yeah,
tone or genre. It'll make you well up.
He was like 59 then, and has white hair back, and all that. But when I first heard that, like 2 years ago, I was mesmerized by, holy crap, it's effortless. Listen, my God, that voice. It was never that good in the song I grew up hearing all the time. It was never that good. Okay. So then I got to watch the reaction videos, and people like singers, vocal coaches will do a reaction video. And there's a couple, both females, when they heard his voice, it was like they jumped. So I know, like, oh, you ain't heard nothing yet. Well, here it comes. 3, 2, want to make like I'm slapping somebody, and they go, because I know what I'm going to get from them.
Right.
But yeah, that got me to like just kind of want to do it. But
I think you do some good reaction videos.
Yeah, it's to hear that though, much respect, and it's one of the most sampled songs commercially of all time. When people are reacting, like if they're in England or wherever, it's sort of like, it was like an ad. It's an advertisement, you know. I've heard, I know that song when they hear the keyboard, never like, and in the beginning, and I know you'll watch it, when they're doing the symphony thing, they're doing different views and all, and it's beautiful. And then they get to Gary Brooker for just about a second where he's like this, like just taking it all in, and then back. Almost nobody gets that, you know. So I'm watching, you know, but then I watch and the reactor might go like that. Okay, wait till you hear him sing. It's I could entertain myself day after day on YouTube with things that make me smile. I mean,
yes,
you know, that it's good for that, you know. And you know, I got go-to comedians and stuff. I can actually start laughing almost after incredibly bad news if I really need to do it, you know. I took a lot of bombs today. You know, actually, I forgot about this, and I was about to start writing editing. So I took not a heroic dose, but you know, I do it by the fingerful.
Right.
I kept going back, and I said, "Man, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna write me some stuff. I'm really." And then shit, 11:11. Yeah. It's 10 till 11. You know.
Yeah.
So this is where the bomb went, right here. Hey, I'm having a good time.
We're all having a good time.
Oh, one more thing. It's actually, I'd be horrible if I didn't mention this. Lefty can, on Thanksgiving, bring, I'm going to have clothes on hangers for the giveaway. Brother Rick, you know, he lost weight and he's good where he is now, and he's giving away stuff he's never going to wear. Right? You know, I got all of Mike's jackets, you know, 3 years now he's been gone. We get to get rid of that. This is a good place to do all that. And then I realized there's going to be a lot of stuff on hangers with nowhere to hang it. However, without the tent top on, could you fit in an extra one of those? That would hold hangers. It doesn't have to have the top on it, just the frame. You can hang shit all over that, right?
That's a good idea.
I know. Hey, that's a bomb idea. This is where it's
fire.
Fire.
Fire like my arm.
Yeah, and think how cool that is, because like if you do 3 sides of it, the fourth side can have a sign because that's a good display, you know. But then you go walking on the inside, there'd be like jackets and pants. And at the meeting, a guy, Andy Walker, was at the CMMJ meeting, and we were talking about that. I think he had a son or somebody just died, and they were going to Purple Heart his clothes or whatever. And he said, you know what? I mean, we usually do, but I'd like to donate them. So I'm going to hook up with him. And if it's hanging with a free, Happy Thanksgiving, is our pop-up Thanksgiving podcast. No advertising. The 8th one. And then people walk by and they got their phones. Hey, somebody's called, give them a call. And all of a sudden, the ad picks up. It's a 3-hour period. And there's everything else goes. I can help you take it to where we need to go in Trenton, Lefty.
Beautiful.
Because where does it go? The rest of it at the end.
Perry Street, Mission.
Perry Street, Mission. Cool.
So, guys, it's been an honor. I have to go to if you know Tobias Eats, he's doing something at Mia's Pizza. I'm going to go join him, eat some pizza, make some content. Guys, it's been an honor. Honestly, I've had a real good time here. Jim, it's been really a pleasure and, again, an honor to talk to you and hear your story and receive the praise I've gotten from you. I hope we do this again soon.
What's up to you? That's up to you. You're
Please
welcome.
reach out.
You're welcome anytime. I'm speaking for Lefty, I'm sure.
No, you're good. You're good. What was it? If you guys are doing one next week, I'll be in Tampa, but just call in and I'll call in from my phone.
Yeah.
Please.
We hang out.
I want to do this more.
All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Take it easy, guys.
Later.
Yeah. I like him.
Bucket Man.
Yeah. Sounded a little familiar and all. I think he's probably a good influence on me if he's hanging around. I don't know what it is. Centering. And he writes. Okay. Farmer Writers Guild. So yeah, the thing hanging there. Brother Kevin too. He has a nice. Nice to say. So Kevin's son is in that growth spurt between like 6th and 8th grade. So he's got a lot of clothes he's outgrown. They're going to make it to Trenton on Thanksgiving too. So we'll probably have enough to hang clothes around 3/4 of it. So somebody could be looking at it from one side and somebody could be looking at something from the other side and way in and out. The fact that it's the angles aren't too steep. I mean, if it's hung up and clothes start to shift a little bit towards you, it doesn't matter. They could, people can move and they can see what's up.
Yeah, it'd be perfect, actually.
I think so. So
I'll bring the big one, the big tent. I'll bring both tents, and then we have enough room.
Yeah. And right now, it's the 10-day forecast has it at 58% chance of rain.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And the day before too.
Oh.
That's like 10 days out though. I mean, 9 days out.
All right. I don't see that.
What do you see?
I see 41 to 56 degrees.
Yeah, but chance of rain?
15%. 15%.
Well,
we've done it in the rain. We've done it in the torrential rain.
Yeah, but not Thanksgiving though. We got stuff.
No,
we would be stuff outside getting wet.
Well, yeah, we would need the tent tops at that point. The tent tops.
You need both tent tops for sure.
Oh boy.
Look, in a worst case scenario, it all goes where it belongs at the end of the day. It's not like we got to start giving stuff back to anybody. And I tell that to anybody giving that, as long as it's going to, do that. But shit, well, that'd be exciting. God damn it. Isn't that like that? It's like we've had 40 days and 40 nights of no rain, and then an inch of rain, and then no rain, and Thanksgiving.
Brother, what's
What
that?
is that? What is that from exactly?
What's that, brother?
Yeah, what's that from? Where is that? Was that in a movie or something?
Internet.
Yeah, because I saw it. It was like in a movie or something they posted.
No, it's a Muslim guy in a white outfit, and he's just saying "ew" to somebody.
Yeah, but it's so recognizable too, you know.
Well, Jim, thanks. That was a really good podcast today. I was so happy to meet Bucket
Hey,
Man
yeah,
again.
yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. You know, it's a byproduct, not part of actually happening in real time. But the byproduct is, I like if somebody gets drawn into what we do. It's an asset, you know, and he would be just an asset by his mindset, and probably as good a sounding board as anybody too, you know, for
Yeah, he's really good.
yeah, I get a good vibe about that, you know.
All right, Jim, I'm out of here. I'm going to go head up to the Lions Club meeting tonight.
Oh yeah,
that should be interesting. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you, putting your actions into your words into actions is very important. I saw Wayne Barini posted something about Randolph. You told me about it. Randolph needs to get a dispensary.
Yeah.
Remember? And he was ranting about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he also posted about the mayor having a meeting at the library from 3 to 4. So
yeah, did you read? I felt I needed to write something about that.
I went up there. I went to the library and I talked to the mayor. And I'm sitting there talking to the mayor about Zoom access, which she agreed with, that they're working on that now. Zoom access for the disabled. She didn't think about it for the disabled. Now she's thinking about it for the disabled. And so I'm sitting there talking to her, and then Wayne comes walking in. I'm like, "Hey, Wayne!" And I said, "My second subject is what Wayne's here for, and that's cannabis dispensaries here in Randolph. We have none, and we have very limited in Morris County." And we talked to the mayor about that. So it was very great putting words into actions. It only took me an hour of my day to do that. It was great.
Well, I wrote outside my point of view of what he was doing and everything he said. He was saying on Facebook, and it bothered me that he's exactly the guy to say it to somebody, you know. And it's sort of like, he knows Lefty. I mean, I didn't say, look, you know Lefty, what the hell? You got to show up, you know.
Show up. That's all you got to do sometimes.
Yeah,
Just
and I read it, and it was like I almost didn't post it because a lot of people get defensive, but I was saying you're better than this, man. You know, you've done this before. He's been inside the annex to deliver something to the Senate Majority Office or whatever. I mean, you know, and
there's Bear.
Hey guys,
what's up? What's up?
What's up?
Yeah,
how's everything?
that was a good hanging out with Bucket Man. He just
we were chilling with Bucket Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
And he got his name from a Batman, from the Batman animated series, when Batman was standing on top of the building.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, did you watch the new Penguin?
No.
They show the bat signal at the end of the last episode.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting real.
It just got real.
Just got real.
Jim, you need to watch The Penguin. It's really good. You'll like it. If you like superhero stuff,
Yeah.
you'll love it.
Is
But
that is that on like Netflix or something?
Yeah.
HBO, yeah.
HBO.
It's more of a mob movie, a mob series.
Yeah. You know what'll happen though? The segments of it are up on YouTube. I mean, they always are. I watched all the segments of Peaky Blinders, never saw it. You know, then I did for something else, and then when I saw it after every spoiler alert, I went and watched, you know, the whole thing. It was fun doing it that way because it sews it together when then you see it in its entirety. So I will be teasing myself by looking at, was it just called The Penguin?
Yeah, that's it. The Penguin.
Yeah, I'll take a couple look at some YouTube stuff and then figure
It's
out.
it's the Sopranos on steroids.
I love Sopranos. You know, they have a mashup of every in the Sopranos, even the group ones. You know, where
I love those. I love that one. I've seen that one, and the Gabagool one is good too.
Oh, I didn't see that Gabagool. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
let's see. Let's get shut down for copyright violation. Let me look that up. Hold on. YouTube, Sopranos, Gabagool mix. 25 years of Gabagool. Is this it? I don't know. I don't see nothing. No, they're playing music. No, they're playing music. No. Where's the one without the music? Cold Cut Edition. Is this it?
I don't know.
I'm just going through them. This is Cold Cut is right. I see. There's a commercial. Sorry.
It's all right. I do.
We didn't want commercial. We're only going to get muted in certain countries anyway.
Over here.
A forward ham, salami, gabagool.
Taking the gabagool and shit out of the fridge.
Let's get back to that gabagool.
Gabagool. All this from a slice of gabagool. The gabagool.
Я думаю, что ей уже не
Gabagool.
лежит в больнице. Доктора говорят, цирроз печени.
Gabagool.
Gabagool. I love it. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know whether to use the last A on. You know, it's antipas. It's not antipasta.
How do you say mozzarella?
Like that. I mean, I don't. It depends. It depends if it's somebody that like. I don't want them to say that. Yeah, that's how it would be. But then, I think I'll say something else that's totally not that person would say. Like if that's
mozzarella.
Yeah,
I got some mozzarella.
Right. No, I mean after that, you know, I want some mozzarella and capicola.
Capicola.
I'm just saying. I'm afraid I'm going to do something like that. You know. So it would totally ruin the mozzarella, you know.
Isn't capicola gabagool?
No,
that's different.
You know, one time I just had so much fun ordering a pizza. This way back, it was in Oklahoma, and when I was ordering it
pizza
on the phone, it wasn't going to be good. It's going to be the best you can get though. And I did the Godfather and Marlon Brando thing. I stuffed like some Bounty paper towels up there, and I ordered like that. And I thought it was kind of fun. I mean, it was like sort of like, I'd like to order a pizza pie. Yeah, I want something on the pie. And I went through the whole thing. And I purposely found as many contractions as I could make. Do not instead of don't. Do not put anything. And do not. And then when he said, "Who's this for?" I went, "Vito." Problem is, I went in. It was like open air. Everybody working. You could see them. They were behind the counter, the pizza ovens and all that. There's about 5 or 6 people working, and there's about 4 people waiting. And all of a sudden, I realized it's like name Vito. Yeah. And when I did that, the person went, "Oh, Vito," and everybody turned around and looked at me to see who the jerk off was that ordered like that. So I wouldn't advise doing it. Didn't have a good ending. It was good pizza pie. All right. Well, I'm glad I didn't forget about this. I mean, I did forget. I'm glad I reminded myself, though. It's like hanging out. All right. Anyway, though, I'm on to the rest of my day.
Well, shout out to Rob from Mad Hatter Dispensary. They finished painting the room. You can't see it because you could just see the walls of the green screen, but it looks beautiful. These walls are nice and solid green, super green. Like, it's beautiful in here now. The door is green. You can't even see the door, but there's a door here. Right here's the door.
It's funny. It's funny that you're there and we can't see it.
Nope.
Is that irony?
It is irony.
Okay.
I could make you see it, but it's too much work.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Next time.
On your way out,
pull down the curtain next time.
Take some pictures on your way out.
Yes.
And then you'll have them, and you can.
Well, I'm still waiting. The room isn't finished yet. I'm waiting for the AstroTurf to be put on the wall here in the middle. So we got 2 green walls, and then it's going to be AstroTurf in the middle, and a Mad Hatter Dispensary sign. It's going to be amazing looking. I can't wait.
When is that going to be?
Anytime now. Like, they're probably going to be in here after we're done. I don't know. They're always in here doing something.
It could be somewhere there now. You can't see them.
They could be waiting for me to, maybe under the table.
It could be behind you and all green, and you wouldn't know.
They could be wearing green. It's funny.
They could be there now.
In the corner.
Now they're on to us.
That's funny.
Yeah. All
right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you all Thursday. Thursday is the normal time, 7:10. But we're going to be going to 4:20 eventually.
Yeah. Who's up for a guest on 7:10?
I don't know.
I mean, on 7:10 on Thursday.
I think, Bangholio. Maybe Bangholio. I have to talk to Bangholio.
Yeah.
I was at his new place recently, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. He's doing really well.
So, she would be back from Florida, I would guess. Does she have somebody? Because Mikey was set, or Bangholio was set to be a guest. She's the one who suggested it. What a great idea, too.
Yeah, we got messed up with the Trenton's schedule.
Yep. Yeah. No.
It happens.
Yep.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a good day. And
David's there.
Have a good night. See ya.